Hi, it's Robbie today, and I want to talk about tote lids. So many of you are now growing in totes because raised beds are just frankly too expensive. But totes work so well, at least they do for me. So I've got a lot of messages of what do we do with all those tote lids? Oh, let me tell you something. I can never have enough tote lids. Though I do buy them at the thrift stores for a couple bucks, sometimes $1, the totes without the lids. I am so grateful and happy to get a lid. Let's go over today something really simple, and that is a flat lid. Nothing fancy, just the lid. Now, let me give you some hints on the lid. When you're getting the 18-gallon totes or even the 30-gallon, 33-gallon totes, you want the simple totes, not the heavy-duty, because those lids will be hard to cut. So the regular storage containers that you get are simple lids, which are really nice. It's a soft plastic, and they're actually easy to cut. What I do is sometimes I start you'll see as we cut it, but I'm going to give you the hints first. You can start it with a soldering iron, and then you can make a little hole so you can get your scissors in there, and you cut the center out. You don't want to cut your lid in half, just the center out. Now, a hint is, if it's cold, plastic gets kind of hard. But when it's warm, it's actually easier to cut. So sometimes it's good to just sit it outside in the sun for about 15 minutes. You can always hit it with a hairdryer. And then go to town and cut the center out, as you will see here in the video. Now, once the center is cut out, keep that plastic because we're going to do a whole lot of stuff with it. But today we're only going to do a tote lid. Now, why would you want to cover for your totes? Well, if you're starting young seedlings, a lot of times things get in there and eat your young seeds and seedlings. Birds will get in there and dig around in the soil looking for fresh sprouted seeds. You'll have other insects trying to get in there eating your newly growing seedlings along with the birds. So the best thing to do is protect your seedlings that are growing outside until they get their main leaves. And then usually not too many things bother them. The other thing, we'll get more into that, is when you have these lids, you can actually use your tote as a cold frame. Today we're going to just do the tote lid and make it as a cover. You cut the center out. It is so simple. Literally takes me minutes to put it together. Once the center is cut out, I am now going to cover it with tulle. Now there are different ways of covering it with tulle. You do it whatever is easier for you. I make holes if I'm going to use zip ties or paper fasteners all around. And watch the video. Once you've got your holes done, then you can put your tulle on there, you can attach your tulle, and you've got a lid that you can snap on and off, and your tulle is not going anywhere. The other thing is a stapler, a plain old paper stapler. Now, I was lucky enough to find one of these handheld paper staplers at the thrift store. So I'm not sure where you can get them, but I'm sure you can find them at any store that sells staplers. You can go around and with a hand stapler, staple your tulle on. And what I do like to do when I'm completely done is go back with the pliers and pinch down the staples so when you're handling it, you won't get snagged by a staple. That is how easy it is to make something out of a tote lid. These tops have saved so many of my plants. I use it all the time, especially early spring when my plants are first starting. If you have short plants growing and you want to keep them covered and you don't have the soil all the way to the top, and I never fill my totes to the top, then you can leave it on all the time if you don't need a pollinator. You know, your greens don't need pollinators, your carrots, your radishes, all those plants don't need pollinators. So you can keep your plants covered as long as possible. Your squash, other plants will need pollination, and you could do that by hand, but by then I don't use the cover and I let nature do its thing with the bees and the flies and the ants, and they all pollinate. But don't throw away those tote lids, because even the center, go back, I've got other videos on it. You can cut those up and use that as your plant labels, and that has been a lifesaver. Cut them up in long strips, write down what you've planted and stick it in your tote, or if you're planting seeds in containers, because it is the greatest thing. When you use wooden sticks like ice cream sticks, they disappear, but the plastic plant stakes, the labelers, they work fantastic. I use a Sharpie, write down what it is, and then the following year I go back if there's any left in the garden. I collect them, wash them off, dry them, and get ready to use in the spring again. So a tote lid is wonderful. I've got 100 things to use with a tote lid, but today I wanted to just go over a very simple cover that I think all of us can use. You can start your seeds directly outside if you want, and you'll know that they're protected with the tool. I'll put the link down below. The bolts they're 40 yards, they're 54 inches wide, and they're only $10. That includes the shipping on eBay. That's where I get mine. You can go anywhere and buy it. If you don't want that much, you could go to any fabric store. They sell it by the yard, and you can get it that way. But for $10, I just buy it online and let it get delivered to me. I love my tool, and these covers, I'm still using covers I made 2 years ago. So once you're done with the covers, bring them in, put them in a really good place so you know where they are, and then you could go back the following spring and use them again, or anytime you need to use them. So I hope I've given you an idea on tote lids. And this has worked great for me. I look around for a stapler and decide which way it will be easier for you to attach the tool. Yes, you could simply cut out the center, lay your tool, drape it on top of your tote, and snap a lid on that's got the center cut out. The center is for airflow and everything. I personally like stapling it on or putting it on with zip ties, and this way it's permanent because I could just pull that lid off, water, service, add more seeds, do what I want, and then snap it on. I'm not chasing tool floating around the yard. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye!